We're going to be going through CompAnalyst Market Data Max, which is the newest data solution here at Salary.com. We believe that this solution provides kind of an unparalleled view at the market by combining our CompAnalyst market data, our aggregated survey results from those 400 surveys that we purchase each year, with our market intelligence toolkit, Salary IQ. This brings both of these solutions together and wraps it in a nice bow with some AI, as well as a new market momentum report or market insights report, I should say. So where we're going to spend our time today is we're going to be in the platform here in our CompAnalyst Market Data Max ecosystem. We're going to show how bringing these two data sets together can help you give that view of the market, looking at what's been paid in the past through our traditional surveys and our benchmarks, as well as supplementing that information with Salary IQ and even looking at it from a perspective of, hey, what happens when I can't find a job in our standard CompAnalyst market data results? This Max model addresses that by giving access to some additional context and information. So we're here in our homepage, and you'll notice the AI suite. I'll come back and talk about this a little bit at the end of the conversation. Where I want to focus today is up in our market data tab and down to CompAnalyst market data. With this new Max model, we are integrating a search for Salary IQ to this platform. I should note before I get too far into this, if anything you see today is interesting to you, please reach out to your customer success representative to schedule some time with us. You'll probably see me on some of those calls, and we can go through some very specific examples. But to get us started, for anyone who may not be familiar with CompAnalyst market data, our HR reported data set, this is the traditional homepage where you would start. And I want to use an example of an SQL developer today. Say we're interested in market pricing that position. What we would do is we would come into the platform, we would say SQL developer. I would start a search for that job. And what we're going to see is a ton of recommendations from CompAnalyst market data. You can see there's 39 recommendations here. But you'll notice they're titled as database engineers. They're not specific SQL developers. And maybe that job's going to be a great fit, or maybe it's not. So there's two ways to kind of handle this approach. The first is looking traditionally at the market data results. We can go ahead and we can say, hey, I want to look at all my CompAnalyst market data results. This is going to be pulling from that HR reported data set. As it does, we're going to see all of our different job titles that are available. We can, of course, open up to that detailed view, see those detailed job descriptions. Oh, this database engineer 2 is a good example. Great, let's use that today. If we do, we select that, populates in our cart on the right-hand side of the screen. There's a bunch of things we can do here from hybriding to comparing jobs. But say, for example, we're interested in applying a scope. We could go in, we could scope this down. You can see I have saved scopes. Today, I'll build something new just real quick. And we want to start with our geo. We want to look at this in the Boston pay market. Great. We can look as high level as the national, as low level as the state, as low level as the town name when it comes to our geographies. We also have 225 industries and sub-industries available with us. If I wanted to look at IT, maybe I want to be in software and cloud computing and SaaS, I can get all the way down to that level. And then lastly would be your organizational size, either by FTEs or by revenue buckets. You can mix and match, pick as many of these that are applicable. Once we run that, we apply that scope. It takes a quick second for us here, and then we're going to get into a pricing report. And I know probably most of you on the call today are familiar with this approach. I did want to run through it for anyone who is not. But when we get to our results page, we see detailed job title, job description, and the data associated. There are some things we can do here to kind of create edits to this by adjusting pricing factors, adjusting this job description. But now with this Max model, we're also going to have access to the Salary IQ market intelligence from this page. What's really cool is if I click View Salary IQ Market Intelligence for this database engineer, it's going to bring me back to the posting results. And for those who don't know, Salary IQ is powered by job postings. On a daily cadence, we go in and we scrape millions of publicly available job postings from boards, career sites, anywhere we can get them, aggregate them back against our benchmarks. We now see a median salary, number of postings, hiring companies, some hiring activity, as well as some trend, right? Understanding where things have been going month to month, the top hiring companies, and skills and demand. With Max, if we're interested in learning even more about this, we could go right from this kind of overview page into the full-blown Salary IQ search, which I will show off in a little bit later. So that's if we have found a job that we like that is contained within CompAnalyst market data. But what happens in this example where I said, hey, I'm looking for an SQL developer? but that database engineer didn't really fit the mold, right? So I could come back to our search right where we started and say, all right, I want to look for that SQL developer again. And what's going to happen here is not only are our comp analyst market data results going to show up, so is the salary IQ data. And this is our market intelligence information. So if we wanted to get a little bit more specific to our SQL developer, all we would have to do is click on the keyword right here. This is going to scan through all publicly available job postings for jobs that contain SQL and developer within them. And what it is doing for us, it is aggregating all of those results. We can see here at the top of the page, we have our job title that we've keyword searched, and we can use some of our AI, bringing up AI for the first time today, to generate a sample job description. So we can start to understand what the data is pulling back and what kind of duties and responsibilities does this job have. Once we've done so, we see all of our results. We see our different scopes available. These are where the data is available, right? So you see 580 results, and we're going to be trying to mix and match industries, geographies, FTEs where applicable. Again, this is posting data, so we're gathering a huge chunk of data and breaking it out by those different scope requirements. We see base pay information, we see posting range information, as well as we have the flexibility to adjust some of our sources here, or not sources, some of our filters. Currencies, rates, display units, how is this being presented in terms of posting status? But maybe we want to learn more about this particular search. What we can do is we have a limited number of searches for the full salary IQ included within CompAnalyst Market Data Max. And with this, what we can do is we can jump in and learn a little bit more about this role through job postings and through market intelligence. When we click into the full version of this here, we are seeing again that big blue bar, some of our charts, but it's also going to allow us to get really deep into the data, being able to break out the individual geographies where these jobs sit, even filter by them, and then break that down to who are the hiring organizations that are hiring for these roles in these markets, and what do those individual job postings look like. Opening this up, seeing the posting title, the minimums, midpoints, and maximums coming from these job postings, skills in demand, all sorts of additional context, as well as getting all the way down to that posting level, looking at the individual job post itself, saying, hey, is this a good apples to apples comparison for me to use? So layering this on top of the data that we get out of CompAnalyst market data, that HR reported model, provides us the most holistic picture of the market available. And for our current client base that is using CompAnalyst market data today, it is a super easy upgrade path for you to get into something like CompAnalyst Market Data Max. On top of this, within this platform, you do also have access to things like peer groups, where you can go in and say, hey, I know I compete for talent with X, Y, and Z. You can search for them right through the Salary IQ homepage, or you can start your entire process from here as well. Keep in mind, each time you run a search in this kind of detailed view of Salary IQ, going to use some of your credit allotment. If you're interested in learning more about how many credits come with this or going through some additional examples, please reach out to your customer success representative so they can go through it with you. Two other things to mention, excuse me, as I'm keeping an eye on the time here, is that I had mentioned earlier AI. AI is a big part of this CompAnalyst Market Data Max platform. And you'll notice we have two different models that can be utilized. We have our generative chat. This is where you can go in and ask compensation specific questions and get compensation specific results. It is trained completely off of our internal data. It is a closed model. So you can trust the results that are being pulled out of it. But not only are we working on this kind of concept of a generative chat, we also have agents infused throughout the platform. From Salary AI to HR Assistant to ask your resource-based questions, we also have things here like our job match agent or our single job match agent as I scroll down. What this will allow you to do is either drop in a job description you're interested in finding data for, either in a Word or a PDF file, and it will go through and provide a recommendation to you. Or more popular in bulk, you'll have the ability to use this job match agent. And this is another great time to mention that with CompAnalyst Market Data Max, you're going to be adding a level of support. You're going to be adding what we call a PSS representative, a professional services support representative. And they're going to help you bring your data into the platform. So your titles, your descriptions, even if they're in a non-standard format today, But once that information is brought into the platform, we can now have AI run against all of your positions and provide recommended results back to you. You can see some of those results here where you can go in and kind of create that match, create that record, right? So every time you come into the system, you know what you've used out of Comp Analyst market data in the past and can really quickly link back to some of those market intelligence results coming from Salary IQ. So, really, with that being said, that's what I wanted to show off today in terms of some of the new features available in Comp Analyst Market Data Max, showing you that new data set, how you can supplement the information that you may already be using in your day-to-day practice.